Welcome, everyone, to Locks of Lore. My name is Benny.
And I'm Tash.
This is Locks of Lore, where two hairstylists get real about the life behind the chair.
We are talking client drama, money talks, industry tea, and everything you'd normally only hear in the back room.
Whether you're a stylist or just love the beauty world, welcome to the group chat.
Well, hello.
Well, hello there. Welcome back.
Welcome back, everybody.
It has been another week. We hope you had a great week. I know we did.
We sure did. What was your week, Benny?
It was pretty cool. I had just like some busy days in the salon, which was nice. And we had a taste of spring here, which felt so good. And then
Lucky.
we had a snowstorm. So,
Oh, unlucky.
yeah,
Yeah.
bring us right back down to reality. How about you?
Mm. My big excitement for the week was that in my Salon mailbox was like 10 copies of Salon magazine featuring
Ooh!
myself.
Pew,
So
pew,
that
pew, pew,
was I
pew.
pew, pew. I wasn't aware that they were gonna, like, send me paper copies of it. I kinda just thought it was like a digital magazine version, and so yeah, it was so nice, and there was enough that I could give one to my makeup artist, Derek, and to my models that, were printed in the
Mhm.
magazine, and then some for my parents and my grandparents, and yeah, so that's just, like that was the big excitement of the week.
Yeah, I would imagine. Are
Yeah.
you going to get it framed?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Think I
Yeah, you
should.
have to. I think you should.
Uh-huh.
I think that would look amazing in the salon, actually. And then you can
Mhm.
have an entire wall of all of your accolades.
Whole wall, exactly, because there's that many.
There honestly, you should have every one that you've gotten printed off and put it on your accolades wall.
Yeah, I'll work on that.
Yeah, I think
Mhm.
you should work on it because I wanna
Okay.
see it, and I know that the rest of the world wants to see it too.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Um,
Hi, my name is Tash, and this week I am the enchanted pink that apparently is back. It's been
ooh.
discontinued. So Pravana's enchanted pink has been discontinued for I feel like it's been like a good 2 years at least. And
Oh,
it
yeah,
is
if not longer.
Yeah, it is in the Vivids Everlasting family, so it is a permanent Vivids, which means it can be used on its own and it can be used with developer, of course, and then it can be used intermixed with the rest of the permanent Chromasilk line. And it is one of everybody's favorites, if not everybody's favorite, Vivids
Yeah,
Everlasting. And
100%.
it went away for a really long time. Apparently, there was an ingredient issue, is what we were told. And then I just got an email last week that Pink Vivids Everlasting is back. And I have not confirmed this yet, whether it's back in Canada. But I saw that it's back in the
Oh.
States, which is a step towards it
If
coming
it's
back to
back in the
Canada.
States, it'll be back in Canada at some
Yeah,
point
it'll
soon.
Exactly. It usually just takes us a little bit longer to get it here, but that's okay, and we've been patiently waiting for 3 years,
I
so
know.
that'll be lovely.
And we've had quite a few workarounds, so I think that we're pretty
We have.
comfortable taking our time.
Yeah, that's true. By this point, we've all figured out, or at least some of us have figured out alternate, formulations for it, but we still miss the good old thing, the good old OG, so that'll be great.
Yeah,
So
so
that's who
excited to
I
have it
am
back.
today. Thanks.
Well, my name is Benny, and this week I'm switching it up a little bit. I am the salad that you constantly bring to work, thinking you have time to eat it, and then
Oh,
you
no.
make your salad, and then you keep seeing it sit there for 20 minutes, 15 minutes after, 40 minutes after, and then it's the end of the day, and you look at your salad and you think, I'm still gonna fucking eat this.
It's soggy. It's soggy,
Thank
but you're
God a lot of it
starving to
happens to
death.
be cabbage, but I am still gonna eat this salad, and
Mm.
if it sounds like I'm speaking of a very specific situation, it is. It's because I bring the same thing to work every single day. I'm trying to gain a little bit of weight, so I've been meal prepping, and I get these salads from Costco, which are the best I've ever had. It's a Asian cashew salad, and I
Ooh.
just mix that in the morning with, a couple of chicken breasts. But a lot of it is cabbage, thank God, because at least once or twice a week, I make the salad thinking I have enough time to eat it. And then I start talking, and then I check a formula or an Instagram page, and then somehow the salad is sitting there until 6 p.m.
Okay, but one question. You are eating salad to gain weight? Why is that? Why is that the
Okay,
go-to?
okay. Yeah, okay, I know that doesn't really make a lot of sense, but
I feel like that's the opposite of what you should be eating. And you're not even
so
eating it. It's sitting on the
eating
counter.
and sitting on the counter. So, it's the only big serving of vegetables I get in the day. In the morning, I have, like, a fair amount of yogurt with granola, and then I have egg whites, and I have my English muffin. By the way, ChatGPT has completely worked out an entire meal prep plan for me. This is
Wow.
down to the I weigh it down to the macro, and ChatGPT tells me at the end of the day how I'm doing. I don't pay for a subscription to any of those really cool apps. I legit just talk to my best friend ChatGPT
Oh, wow,
at the
that's
end
so
of the
smart.
day. Yeah, and it gives me complete breakdown, which is awesome. And then for lunch, I have 2 chicken breasts with this salad, and that's basically my source of, like, vegetables for the day. And then I have a snack afterwards, like, usually a cereal because 'cause I'm trying to eat more carbs. And then my evening is basically all meat and rice, so I don't really eat any other vegetables, so that one salad in the day is a full portion of what I need vegetable-wise, and also I heard that eating salad is hard for your body to digest, so it's better to eat that earlier in the day so that your body has more time to break it down throughout the day, and then I leave the evening to easy to digest stuff such as rice, and
Jeez.
I'm eating boy kibble, actually, that's what that's what TikTok has told me,
Boy
is I'm eating
kibble?
it's
Oh, that's
boy
the
kibble is just
dumbest thing
ground
I've
beef
ever
and
heard.
rice.
That's amazing. You are, I mean, half human, half dog, I feel like, so
Honestly, all boys are dogs, so
all
give us the
boys are
boy kib yeah.
That's so funny. I've
So,
never
yeah,
heard
that's
that.
what I've been eating. You've never heard that? Now that I've told you,
No,
you're gonna
boy
hear boy
kibble.
kibble everywhere.
Yeah, I will. No, I love that. Alright.
Yeah, moving on. We don't have a lot of news this week in the hair industry, but one thing that is new is there is a new Olaplex product. And I'm gonna
Mm,
go on a small quick rant about Olaplex, but in broad, other products too. And if you are using Olaplex or if you're Olaplex and you want to pay us, just disregard this next message and then come back to us later.
still pay
um,
us.
It's that's still pay us somehow. So Olaplex is releasing a number 3 plus this week, or they announced they're releasing a number 3 plus, and number 3 is the mask part that goes on at the sink. I remembered when Olaplex was coming out, I was so excited. I actually remembered I was emailing the CEO, don't know how I got his email so many times because it wasn't released in Canada, and I kept asking, "When are we getting something like this? When are we getting this? When are we getting this?" And he replied to me personally and said, "Hey, here's the link. I'm gonna send you a package, but from now on, you can order it through this distributor, XYZ." So
Wow.
excited. It was great. I loved the product because nothing was basically like that. And then, of course, everybody else comes out with their own versions. And
Yeah,
now I'm definitely a lot more of a K-teen salon. I don't really like Olaplex. But one thing that really grinds my gears about these brands is the way they segregate their products to make us spend more money. And
right.
if anybody is the king of doing this, it's Olaplex. And it kind of annoys me because when they first came out, it was just the number 3, the number 2, and the number 1. Okay.
Yeah,
So you were able to kind of easily manage what you're buying in the salon. Now there's so many numbers and so many steps. I don't even know where to start when I look at the brand. And I'm a professional and I see everything is segregated so minutely to the point where you have to buy a whole intro in order to feel like you're getting the most from the range. Whereas before you were able to use 1 or 2 products and you got what you needed and your clients got what they needed. I think it's so annoying when brands realize, hey, we know we can make so much more money, so let's give you so many more products. And then now with this number 3 plus, why would you make it so that I have to choose to spend more money for a product to work better? Why wouldn't you have just improved
yeah,
the original formula and then just said, now this one only works in 3 minutes as opposed to it working like in 10 minutes the way it used to work? Or new improved formula, this is the only one. Who's gonna, in their rightful mind, see 2 different products priced at 2 different price points and have to make a choice between, do I wanna save 7 minutes and spend more money? They're not gonna put that cost onto the client. They're just gonna incur it on themselves. That's what we usually do as hairstylists. We don't think about that. We just see the price, we pay for it, and it's just so annoying, and
yeah,
it's not easy for us to budget, and then when we see things like that at a store, it makes it even harder, and then I'm thinking about from my client's perspective, I'm trying to find a new product line in the salon, and
yeah.
I was coming from a line that it was really high end, but was also very segregated. Like there was a specific product just for heat protection, and there was a specific product just for UV protection. And it was great because you are able to really whittle down what you need. But most people are looking for all in ones. Why do we have these lines where each thing is so separate when you could have had one product that did four things?
'Cause you nailed it on the head, Benny, that's how they get you.
That's how they get you, and that's how they get the client. And so
Yep.
I'm trying to find a product line that has combination products, so heat
Mhm.
protection, moisture, barrier protect all of it. I want everything. I want smoothing. I want it to be anti-humectant. I want it to be one product. If I'm gonna charge you $80 for a leave-in conditioner, I
Yeah.
wanna make sure that you leave with maybe 2 products. You have a
Yeah, for
leave-in and
sure.
then maybe a holding product or like a hairspray or a serum. Like, you don't
Yeah.
need a fucking leave-in conditioner and then a smoothing cream and then a light hold spray and then a flat iron spray. I was like, why do I need 6 things when you
Yeah.
could have just made it one product? That's my rant for this week, and I'm so annoyed by it.
I also don't carry Olaplex in my salon for that reason, there's just too many steps, and it's like 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, and then
Yeah,
2, 2.5, it's like, "Oh my god,
and
I
it's
can't."
so expensive,
It's so expensive, and it's too much information for my brain, let alone
and
trying
it's too
to
much for the client.
let alone if it's too much information for a stylist's brain, let alone trying to explain that to a client and have them retain that information when most of it probably doesn't even make sense, right? Like,
100%. In
it's
one
too
ear,
much
out the
for me.
other.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So I really appreciate using K18 because it's so simple. It is, you use this, you don't even have to use the rest. You can really just get away with using one of the products if you really need it. And then for the client going home, they know I have one step.
yeah.
I have one product to use. I have 2 products to use to get everything I need. Now, if you are K18 and you're listening and your product team is designing a way to make it separate, please just
Stop.
stop. Just stop. Just
Stop now.
don't. Just from the hairstylist, we don't love it. You might think it's great to be able to offer so many more things, but as a hairstylist, especially as a business owner looking to purchase product, it is so frustrating for us to see these extremely huge ranging lines that cover almost too much when you could have really condensed and been more of a powerhouse product line, which currently you are as a product line and as like a
Yeah.
stylist tool. So please never change. And also, please send us some products because we love using K18.
Our addresses
S
are
Are listed on our profiles, so if you need to find
yeah,
us, check out our salons.
it's hilarious.
Yeah, that is hilarious. Okay, so I wanna talk about some TikTok drama this week. I know you also had some time to watch these videos because we were just talking about it.
Yeah, I did. You sent me my homework. I watched through the videos that you sent. It's pretty wild. I have a lot of thoughts. Do you wanna explain what you sent me this morning?
Okay, so I sent you a situation that happened in California at a salon called Melania Salon or Milani Salon, sorry, not Trump's wife's salon. So
Nobody goes there?
uh, nobody goes there. Yeah. Although I did see her movie was out and I was like, am I gonna watch this? Then I thought, no,
No,
I'm
you're
not
not.
gonna give it
No,
the
no, no,
streams.
no. Don't
No.
give it a stream. No.
No, we're not getting it a stream. Anyway, so the salon is called Milani Salon. It is in California. And at first, what I experienced was the hair salon owner making a video. I didn't originally see the client's perspective. I saw the salon owner's perspective. She was basically going on about how a person came into her salon, asked for a service, signed a waiver, seemed to like the service, didn't like the service when she left, and basically she made it seem like this client has a reputation of making really bad reviews on Yelp or whatever, and she wasn't happy with the hair. She wanted a refund. She wanted it fixed. And so then, of course, I took the first flight to that client's page to make sure I could see her perspective. And she posted 3 videos giving a very detailed explanation. And I'm going to explain it mostly from her perspective because I think what we need to do is pick down what she received and what her perspective was, and then, from our perspective, we can tell what it's like from being in this industry. So, from this client's perspective, her name, I think, is Sydney, or the one and only was her name, which I thought was really cute. She made appointment for the consultation. She went in for this consultation, showed the inspiration photo. This stylist told her it was going to cost $350. It was going to require 3 extra bowls, and The $350 included a haircut. So I did some of the math. The original pricing is it starts at $220 and then it's $65 for a cut, and then they added 3 bowls. So actually when I did the math, the estimate was supposed to be $390 because it was 3 times 35 plus the 220 plus the 65. So it should have been 390. So she was misquoted from the very beginning. I don't know where that
Mhm.
discount came from, but anyways, that's neither here nor there. So she gets quoted $350. She goes in for this service. It ends up taking what she was told it was supposed to be 5 extra bowls, and the stylist needed 1 more bowl just to finish what she explained as a section at the top, but the stylist at the moment said she wasn't gonna charge her for the extra bowl. So she goes back to pay. She doesn't really mention not liking her hair at the appointment. She doesn't say anything about her expectations or her what she received at the appointment. And I also watched the video from the salon perspective. Her hair did look really good when she left the salon. From my perspective, and maybe it's just like clever lighting, I don't know, but her hair looked really good from the
It was
video.
a color correction, so basically taking this girl from level, what, 3, would you say? 3,
Oh, I
4?
would say at least darker. She's like I'd say level 2. She's got Asian dark
Yeah,
thick hair. So yeah.
very dark, and then the inspo pick was like a level 9, so like a very, very light blonde, so that is a
Yeah.
huge job, a huge color correction.
And the photo seemed almost like a solid blonde. I didn't see any dark through that photo. The low in that photo was, I would say, maybe as a level 7 at the darkest. So
Yeah,
to me, it looked like a base blonde with a highlight in order to give that all over effect.
yep,
And so this
I
girl was
agree.
getting highlights instead. And so she had some roots. I would imagine that she had like maybe 5 inches of roots. So it was down by like around her chin. And she did have some previous highlights. So she gets to the bill, and the bill ends up being $495. And the stylist says that she charges her for an extra 5 bowls. So I kind of I was a little bit confused there because when I did the math, it was the 6 bowls and it was $495, which means that when she paid the bill, it was for 6 bowls. So when she looked at the bill, she would have seen 6 additional bowls there because that math would have brought her to $495, including the haircut for 65 and the original 220 and the $210 for the additional 6 bowls. So when she saw the price, she would have seen it for 6 additional bowls. Anyway, so she goes home and looks at her hair. She realizes that there's a, demarcation lines because of course she's going from a level 2 to a level 10, so there is quite a jump there. I'm assuming they didn't do a root melt. When I looked at the video of them doing the processing, it looked like they were very meticulous about the toner. She was sitting at the
Mhm.
chair. They didn't just slap it on at the bowl. It seemed as though they were going through the toner and doing a very meticulous job. So whether or not the stylist either did a root shadow and it wasn't dark enough, or she didn't do a root shadow and left it as is, that hasn't been clarified. So she is upset with her color. She asks for it to be fixed. She sends a text message to the salon practitioner, the stylist, asking for the demarcation to be fixed. And she says something about there being some streakiness. So of course, if you're going to be going from a level 2 to a level 10 without a base in the middle, there's going to be a level of contrast between those two colors, which is where she's seeing the streakiness. If she had gotten a base blonde and highlights, she wouldn't have seen those quote unquote streaks. She would have had
Yeah,
less contrast, right? So in
yeah,
my mind, that also confirms to me that she was looking for a base blonde with a highlight, which is very difficult to do on her natural base. It's basically a bleach out and then a tone down. So
yeah, yeah,
she wasn't getting the right service for what she was looking for. And in fact, that would have been even a much bigger color consultation. And it would have been way
exactly.
more than 6 bowls, babe. Like you were looking at like $1,000 transformation to be that blonde. Going from such a dark color to such a bright color is the most dramatic thing a hair
Mhm.
stylist can be doing to your hair. And you also have thick hair. So, you know, you have to expect the price tag and the hours to be really high. And jumping ahead, she also had appointment that was supposed to be 5 hours and she made plans for afterwards. I can't stand when people do that. If you're gonna
No,
have such a long appointment that and you know your hair is dark, you know you're going to a really blonde color, don't make appointments afterwards. Don't expect to be out at a certain time.
No, it's
That's
never a
just
good idea,
irresponsible.
and it's never a smart idea for the stylist because it puts pressure on that stylist to not do the best job that they possibly can in exchange for working faster because they're trying to get you
Yeah,
out, right? So, it
100%.
puts them in not a great position to begin with because they're gonna be sloppier.
Yeah, or sloppy, and they're gonna be thinking, "Oh my gosh, it's already been X many hours, they have to get out." They're probably gonna take those foils off a little too soon, which means they need
Yeah,
to process, a little bit longer. Anyway, so
exactly.
I can understand why everybody was frustrated. So she asks for her hair to be fixed, and the stylist says, I'm comfortable offering you a root tap to blend that out, but I'm" and then I took a screenshot of the text message that this girl Sydney sent to the hairstylist, and I'll read it to you guys. It says, "Thanks for getting back to me. I understand a big lift can be challenging. I'm seeing noticeable demarcation slash hard lines, especially underneath, and a few spots look uneven throughout the mids and ends. I'm happy to come in for a correction. Can we do a root tap plus a toner gloss to blend and neutralize the warmth? If any areas need a few quick foils slash low lights to break up
Lol.
the lines, I'd like to address that too so it looks seamless. I'm okay skipping a full blow dry, but I'd like to make sure we can check the blend once it's dry enough to see the results. What day next week can you fit me in?" Okay, that is a whole bunch of stuff right there. So
Mhm.
she's comfortable coming in for root tap, but she wants to address the blending and she wants to add some highlights or low lights. Where do you think you need low lights? If anything,
Yeah.
you don't that's the problem is the dark. You don't need to be I understand she doesn't know
Adding
what she's
more dark
talking
back
about, but,
in.
like,
Yeah.
maybe this was the stylist's fault for not explaining to her, and clearly these stylists didn't realize what needed to be done because they weren't offering a full blonding service, they were offering a highlight, and if they explain that to the client, then that client should know that that dark that they're seeing in there is their natural, which they need
Yeah.
to alter, you know?
Yeah.
So, what do you think?
Well, the other thing that I saw when I was reading through the text messages between the salon owner, so it ended up going from like the client discussing or texting with the stylist that she saw, and then it gets taken to the salon owner because obviously they're not able to come to an agreement. So then the salon owner gets involved and explains it a little bit further that the 6th bowl was actually your bowl of toner. So I think that yeah, which
Oh.
I'm like, that's fair. Like,
Yeah, that's
I
fair.
yeah, I think that there was a just from the beginning, from the get-go, a huge miscommunication between the stylist and the client because
Yeah.
like you're saying too, she's not gonna achieve that inspo pick just with a full head of highlights because her base is so, so dark. The inspo pick had no level 2 or 3 in it at all whatsoever, right? So, like, the other thing that really kinda got to me was this client was saying, "I've been dark to back to light to dark to light so many times," and she was showing, like, a bunch of photos of her hair over the years. I feel like this client should have probably understood then that sometimes it doesn't just take one go at it, one 4 or 5-hour appointment and that's it, and you can get from a level 2 to a level 10. The other thing is, like, some of the photos she was showing of herself previously had red on her ends, she had, like, multiple
Mm.
different colors on her ends, which can sometimes, depending on what type of color you have in your hair, make it almost next to impossible to get you back to, like, a 9 or 10.
Yeah.
Sometimes those colors stain your hair and that's it, they need to be cut out. So not saying because there's not, like, a reference for when each of those photos she was showing were taken, but, like, you have a lot of old color on your hair, and you say that you've gone back from light to dark to light to dark. You can't expect that stylist to, take you to that inspo pic knowing how much dark color you have on those ends, and her hair was
I
very
mean, but
long.
if you look at the before she started getting her highlights, it to me only looked like she had highlights on the ends. It didn't look like
Okay,
she had any other color.
I
Yeah,
didn't see
on
that
the stylists
before
on the
photo.
salon's video, they show videos of her getting her hair done before, they show sorry, her before, they show the process, and they show the after, and her
Yeah,
before was just, like, grown out highlights, and the after was, like, a super bright it was a beautiful blonde, but one
yeah,
thing we know about blondes, the toners do not last, and
yeah.
especially going from such a dark base, It's not gonna get you she probably washed it once and it went back to that, which I tell
Yeah.
my clients, like, "That's gonna happen unless we bring you down." They probably lifted to, like, a 9 and toned with a 10, which whatever, it happens. It looks good, but it doesn't last, and then she's
Mhm.
gonna wash it once and be back to a raw blonde, which it didn't look terrible, but it wasn't the bright white blonde that she saw when she left that first day.
Yeah. I will say, like, seeing the photos where she lifted her hair up and stuff, it was pretty harsh. Like, I think that the
Yeah.
stylist I don't think it was the best job that she could have done, but again, maybe she felt super rushed because the girl was rushing her out, you know what I mean?
Well, let's
Um,
play devil's advocate, okay? How many times have you been in the middle of a foil and you're like, "Holy fuck, there's so much more hair here than I
yeah, than
thought
what
there
I
was."
was
Even
yeah,
if I was holding it before and getting in there, once you actually get into someone's head, it can sometimes be a whole different ballgame once you start.
yeah,
And she probably was starting to get stressed out with the time ahead of time, like
yeah,
while she was doing the foils. And she was also probably starting to feel like, "Holy shit, I'm using a lot more color than I thought." So she probably just started doing slices. In order for that client to get a bright, impactful blonde, she probably
yeah,
thought, in this interior, I'm going to have to do a lot of slices in order to give this person the because if she just did baby lights all the way through, that would not have given her what she wanted. You know, she
no,
would have needed to have done those slices, a ton of teasy lights. You know what I mean? She would have need to do everything in her power, but then she probably needed to go back in and blend the root out
yeah,
with the root tap. If she had gone back
and
with the root tap, that would have fixed
I
it.
mean, we don't know if maybe that stylist did give her the option of a global blonde and then, like, doing multi-dimensional highlights or, like, darker low lights back through it or whatever to give it more of that effect, like, maybe the client was offered that more kinda global blonde, sort of
I don't think
lighten
so.
absolutely everything. You don't think so? You think
I
it was
don't
just,
think
like, a
so, because if she
miscommunication?
had offered that, then it would have given her the option of knowing you either have to live with your base or you change your base.
Yeah,
And she wasn't expecting a base change, and she was getting a live with your base service. So I think if she had
yeah,
offered both of those things and that client would have said something to the effect of, "She asked me if I wanted to do global blonde, and maybe I should have done the global blonde to get rid of those darker streaks in between, which is my natural." And the fact that
yeah,
she asked for a low light means she has no idea what she was not explained the service or
yeah,
the expectations,
I
because what do you
guess.
mean low light?
You just never know with people when people are complaining like that, though, you just never
Yeah.
know what was really the real truth and what was really said in the consultation because people can
And what
twist
was
things
absorbed? She could have said
and
it.
exactly, and what was absorbed. Exactly, like, she could have said it and she doesn't actually understand the difference, right? And then she just
Mhm.
goes with whatever the stylist thinks, like, "For this first appointment, maybe we're just gonna give you a full head of highlights back to back kinda thing, um, and maybe we'll work towards that," right? Maybe the client just didn't fully understand what that meant and that would mean leaving out some of your natural level 2
Yeah.
base. Yeah. You
And
never
that's
know.
actually one of my biggest pet peeves, and maybe this is because I am somebody who does quite a lot of global blonding. It's like I'm very comfortable doing it. I love doing it. I think everybody should go blonde at least once in their life. Just that's my personal opinion. I think, they say blonde as I have my platinum blonde
As
hair,
you're blonde, that's what I was
as
thinking.
I'm blonde,
Yeah.
I do think everyone should try it once. It is a lot of fun. But I can't stand when somebody shows an inspo photo of a global blonde with dimension or a global blonde effect, and the stylist bottlenecks them into doing a full highlight because that's all they know to do, and they're not comfortable doing the global blonde. Because
Yes.
ultimately, you will damage the hair so much more by doing
Yeah.
so many highlights. And I understand that it's scary, especially for, if I was offering it to this girl, I would have told her, that is a scary service. It's not something everybody's comfortable doing. And a lot can go wrong. And that's why not a lot of people offer it. I get that. But don't give somebody the expectation of receiving that level of a blonde effect by only doing highlights. It's not ever going to happen. And the amount of times that person's going to sit in your chair and keep telling you, I want to go blonder, I want to go blonder, I want to go blonder. And you just keep doing more and more and more highlights. And that client's hair eventually is going to get more and more compromised. Just do the fucking bleach out.
I
Just
guess,
do it once.
I mean, like I said, I didn't see the before photo that the salon had showed, but you said that she had her regrowth, like, up to her chin or whatever, and then the rest of her hair was highlights with
Mhm.
like, just highlights in there, and so maybe the
Yeah.
stylist also was like, "Well, the best match to match
Yeah.
your regrowth that we're gonna do with your ends is just gonna have to be more highlights, because if we only globally blonde, your first 6 inches of hair or whatever, and then the rest is the darker, your natural base with like, maybe she just maybe it was didn't feel like she could lighten any of those ends anymore. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, I know what you mean, but then again, that also goes back to the level of competency of the stylist. If she looks
yes,
at that,
consultation
because you
and
can do that. It is I do tell my clients that the sooner
yeah,
you decide to go platinum, the better. And
yeah,
I'd rather you go blonde now, and then I take you back to a highlighted look later if it's too blonde, than for you to do highlights and then I have to go back in and do the bleach out later
for
because
sure.
you know what I mean? It's gonna cause so
Yeah,
much more damage. And if you had sat in my chair and you had 5 inches of roots and then, 8 inches of a highlighted ends, I would have said, "We're doing this now, and I'm gonna have to pick through those ends, and there is gonna be some dimension in those ends. It's gonna take us 2 appointments after this
yeah,
to clean out those ends with as little breakage as possible. So just know that going forward, you're either gonna have to grow out that multidimensional lightened ends, or we're gonna have to keep going back in with a full foil bleach out service or full
mhm,
global blonde on those mids and ends every time you do your roots until we get it to an even color. And there will be some breakage, but the
yep,
sooner you do it, the faster you
the
can just
better.
grow out your global blonde and have an
Yep,
even lift.
yep, yep, agreed,
Uh,
agreed. We're on the same
so,
page. It's
but that just goes back to
stressful.
everybody's a blonding expert and they all know
Yeah,
what they're
that's
doing.
100%, that's what it is.
Yeah, cue our rant from our very first episode of Everyone is a Blonding Expert. If you need a real blonding expert, you need to find that.
I saw that, like, because these, TikTok videos from this, client had blown up so much, there were then hair companies sending her hair tools and hair, like, conditioners, leave-ins, whatever, to try to, like, "rescue," quote, unquote, the damage that the stylist had done that this girl was claiming whatever. So, like, good on her. She got a bunch of
Yeah,
free gifts from some
yeah.
other salon that wants to, try to jump in on the success of the TikTok videos
Good
and
for
be
them.
the hero. Yeah.
Good for them. At the end of the day, get your bag, get your product. Everybody deserves a PR kit. So just get it. You know what I mean? She's getting some
Yeah.
publicity. Now I saw that video this morning. It looked like your hair was pretty nice.
I know. I was thinking that too. I was like, "Your hair looks great. Like, what's the deal?
I was
Did she get it?"
zooming in and everything as she was opening that
Yeah.
round brush. I'm like, girl, your roots look great now. Did you get a root shadow? Did somebody fix that? Did they
Yeah.
fix it and you're not telling us that they did fix it?
I bet they did. I bet they
I
did
bet
fix it,
they
and she's
did.
not
Yeah.
gonna make a video about it.
Why would
Yeah,
she? She's getting free hair products now, so
exactly. I would love
did she get
a,
that Dyson for free? Because she held up a round brush next to, like, a Dyson
oh
Airwrap, and I was
god.
like, "Question mark? Did you get a
Yeah,
Dyson?"
just sponsored? Yeah, I don't
Wow.
know, but good on her, I guess.
Yeah, good on her, yeah. Have you ever had a bad re
Yeah,
You have?
I actually had, it wasn't so much a bad review well, okay, it kinda was, I guess. This actually happened kind of recently, and it was such a silly situation. This young girl, came into the salon, booked in with me, and we had this whole entire conversation. Okay, so she has, like, the thickest hair, really coarse, and kinda, like, to her shoulders, and the
Okay.
inspo pics that she's showing me is, like, super duper shattered razor cut, shag, everything is, like, PC to the max, right?
Yeah, of
And
course
so
she
she
is.
and she said to me, "But I don't want you to use thinning shears." And I was like, I was like, "That's fine. I won't use thinning shears, but I think that this cut calls for being razor cut, like, which
Yeah.
is one of my favorite tools to use. When the hair calls for it and when it's the right look that we're going for, I love cutting with a razor. I think that it's one of my strengths. So,
Oh, nice, I love that.
yeah, so anyways, I said to her, like, "We're gonna use a razor. It's different than texturizing shears, and, like, trust me, have been doing razor cuts for 20 plus years, and, like, looking at the photo that you're showing me, it needs to be cut with a razor." Her hair was,
Yeah,
like,
especially with that
ridiculously
texture.
thick. Yes. So we did the cut. We were both obsessed with it. Even everybody in the salon was like, "Oh my god, that's the cutest cut ever." Like, it looked great. Everything was good. Took her up to the front. I went to ring her through. Whatever I charged her, she gave me a weird amount, and I was like, "Let me just run to the back and see if I have change in my wallet or something. Something was going on and I didn't. And so I rang her through the system and had to give her in change like some dimes, which she wasn't
Okay.
very happy with. And so whatever, she leaves. I was really happy with it. She was like, "Yeah, I'm like love it, totally coming back." She felt good, right? Next thing I know, a review pops up about how she told me that she called it a thinning razor. So she says, I told her that I didn't want my hair cut with shears and she used a thinning razor, she says, and she gave me the wrong change in dimes. I will not be back. And I was like, okay. So anyways, Google actually you know how Google will, like, look over reviews and delete them? They deleted it because, like, as a business owner, you can't actually delete, at least I've looked into it, you can't, like, because I was so stressed out about that review, I was like, "F this," like, we had such a thorough consultation. You agreed that the razor was gonna be the best tool to use for this haircut, and now you're going in and, like, giving a shitty review on me, even though we were both in agreement that this was the best tool to use, and we were all really happy with your haircut. Second of all, I did not give you the wrong change. So anyways, Google deleted the review for whatever reason. Then she goes in the next week with a new username and writes the same review, but, like, adds to it again, and she did it 3 times with different usernames. And,
Whoa.
like, over the like, I held myself back from contacting her directly and just being like, explaining myself a little bit more, be like, "Hey, like, we really did have, like, a 20-minute consultation about how this was the best tool. We were both in agreement. I didn't touch your hair with what you asked me not to touch it with. Um,
Yeah, and there
Second
is no
of
such like
all,
a thinning razor
that's
is
not a
not
thing."
that's not a thing. You can thin with scissors too. You don't
Yep.
have to use thinning shears. I think she just sounds like she didn't want any thinning at all, which doesn't sound like that's gonna happen with the cut she was showing you.
That's the thing, like, with the cut you're showing me, and we had agreed to this, it needed to be cut with something more than just scissors, and what I think that she assumed that the razor is damaging on her ends when I grabbed a fresh blade for that haircut, like, it's
Yeah,
sharper than my shears, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, you are getting
yeah, done
a
correctly, a
sharper.
razor is great.
Exactly, but
Yeah,
anyway, so that was really upsetting to me because it was like, "Great, you're just gonna leave a whole bunch of crappy reviews for something that we completely agreed on and you left
mhm.
really happy about." I remember talking about this and on another episode with you. This is how people can really hurt small businesses because
Oh, yeah.
nothing that n on from my end, like, nothing that I did was not okay, like, we agreed to all
Uh-huh,
of this, and then
uh-huh.
I just gave you dimes and she just didn't want dimes, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and so you're just
Also,
gonna
she sat there the whole appointment,
yeah.
obviously not wanting this razor to be used on her and said nothing.
Yeah, like, say something if that's not what you wanted
Yeah,
because
clarify, ask me, "Hey, is that a fitting razor? How does a razor work?" If you have concerns about if the razor is gonna shred your ends, which it can, that's a valid question to ask,
yeah,
then that gives you the opportunity to educate her and say, "Yes, it can, but today we're using a fresh razor, and when you use a fresh razor with good technique, you're cutting that cuticle perfectly, and you're not gonna be
mhm.
shredding it." And then she would have, been able to not think that she's getting a thinning shear or a thinning razor used on her
Yeah,
head.
exactly, like, there's a huge difference. So that was just really
Yeah,
upsetting for me
that sucks,
because
sorry.
I was really happy with that haircut and how it went and whatever, so
Fucking bitch, man.
yeah, just it sucks. What about
Yeah.
you? Do you have any stories?
I haven't had a bad review. I mean, I do have a interesting review story. It's gonna need almost a whole episode for us to get into because it involves my
Ooh.
neighbor in the salon, and I know I've told you a little bit about this
Oh, I
story.
know about this.
Yeah, but I'm just gonna, like, allude to this story so that one day when I come back to it, you can be like, "Tell us more." So who
Ooh.
knows? I know, I'll leave that there. I doubt that she'll ever listen to this, but anyways, there was a lot of people going back and forth, and there were so many reviews left on her work page, and I was interested in when you said that somebody can't delete reviews because there were so many reviews on your page where, clients were saying their experience, which happened to be of the effect of, paying for a service and not receiving it, or paying for a product and not receiving it, or receiving it but being lied to about its origins and its quality, I guess. And all of those reviews were gone. And so I was
Mm.
interested in how those reviews can be removed, because we were all very excited to see those reviews up because, it's scary to
Yeah.
be spending a lot of money and then having it backfire on you. And then to see all those reviews removed, I was interested in how that's possible. Does Google automatically review and remove, or do you have to select it to be removed?
No, from our perspective of my salon, we literally read the review, and then I texted my sister who co-owns the salon. I screenshotted the review and was like, "Look at this. Here's the story, blah blah blah." And then a couple hours later I went back and it was completely gone. And so we hadn't clicked on anything to let Google know that this
Mm,
was slanderous or whatever you want to say, right? It was just gone. So I feel like they sort of must keep their eye out, because I did then research, can you delete your Google reviews? And it said, no,
yeah.
a business can't. I think that it was a shitty enough review that kind of didn't hold its own. And so they removed it because it really can affect a
Yeah,
business, right? And
it
it
can.
wasn't really like a fair review at all.
I mean, but that's also kind of scary, because if you have an actual bad review that is warranted, what gives Google the foresight to know which ones are
Yeah,
slanderous and which ones should stay?
we need to research into this because I actually have no idea. I'm just gonna ask ChatGPT here.
Oh, that's an excellent idea, my best
Yeah.
friend.
Can a business delete a bad Google review? No, a business generally cannot directly delete a bad review on Google if the review follows the platform's rules. Reviews belong to the person who
Mm.
posted them. What a business can do: they can flag the review for removal. If the review violates Google's policies, if it's fake, spam, harassment, conflict of interest, the business can report it. Google may remove it after reviewing. They can ask the reviewer to remove or edit it. If the issue gets resolved, the customer can update or delete their own review. Okay, but then it says reviews that Google may remove on their own:
Okay.
fake or misleading content, hate speech or harassment, spam or promotional links, reviews from competitors, reviews about the wrong business. So I guess
Ah.
whatever this person was saying was must have been falling into that section.
Like,
It
maybe
says,
somewhat slanderous? Like, I don't
yeah,
know.
well, it was.
Yeah,
What businesses cannot do: they cannot delete legitimate negative reviews themselves, they cannot hide reviews on their profile, and they cannot pay to have reviews removed. So, that's really interesting because we didn't flag that review at all. It fell into those
automatic delete scenario.
automatic delete scenarios. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that worked out well for you.
Yeah, I mean, that did, because
You didn't have to do
that hurt.
anything.
Yeah, but that's really interesting. So in the case of your person,
Yeah, question
I
mark. How did
guess
that get deleted? I would imagine they flagged it, because there was quite a few. It wasn't just one. When I originally was sent a screenshot, it looked like there was maybe 3 or 4. I haven't looked in, like, a year, but when this was all, current and happening and intense, it was all there, and it's no longer there. So, interesting. I will have to follow up on that, and one day I will find a clever way of giving you guys the story. I think after this year, I should be able to tell the story as it is, because it
yep.
should have a resolution.
Oh, listen to this. Okay, so I started looking into it even deeper here. I said, I had a bad review, but I'm curious why it got deleted, basically. And it says Google spam filter probably caught it if the review was posted right after creating an account. So if somebody creates an account,
Ooh.
which makes perfect sense because
Because she made new accounts
kept
and kept
making new
posting it.
accounts. Yeah, so that's totally what it was, because it kept being a new name every time with the same thing, so you can't do that. Interesting.
Ooh, okay, that makes sense. That actually makes perfect sense. Why
Mhm.
I can see why the other ones were created. I'm still, like, curious as to why the first one was, unless she made an account
I
to
think
make
she
the
probably
first one.
Yeah, I think she probably did, is my guess.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Interesting. But yeah, I'm gonna say, like, think that that's been my only negative review that I can really remember from all those years that's been posted online, I guess. I don't know.
Hmm. Good. Let's keep it that way because you are one of the best people I know, so there is no bad review.
I love you.
Yeah, 5 stars.
Aw, thank you.
Okay, so I have a letter from a listener, and yeah,
Ooh!
I actually, I read this one ahead of time. I'm sorry, I know I shouldn't have, because there was a couple for me to choose from this week, and I wanted to make sure I picked the best one for everybody. And this one ended up being really good. So I'm gonna read it
Okay.
to you all. It is called Dating in the Danger Zone.
Ooh.
Dear Locks of Lore, I have accidentally created what might be the most chaotic love triangle in Salon history, and I need guidance before my next root touch-up turns into a daytime talk show.
Ooh!
So I've been doing this client's hair for about 4 years. Let's call her Melissa. Melissa is one of those clients who books every 8 weeks like clockwork, brings coffee for both of us, tips well, and tells everyone I'm a hair wizard. Dream client. About 6 months ago, Melissa started telling me about her messy breakup with her boyfriend of 5 years. Lots of cheating accusations, dramatic Instagram unfollows, the whole thing. Standard breakup therapy session behind the chair. Fast forward to 3 months ago, I'm out with friends at a bar and I met this guy. He's funny, he's cute, buys a table a round of drinks, and we start chatting. At some point, he asks me what I do. I say I'm a hairstylist, and he goes, "Oh, wow, my ex was obsessed with your hairstylist." You already know where this situation is
Oh,
going.
no! Ah! Oh, no.
After about 10 minutes of conversation, we realize his ex is Melissa, my client. At first, we
Mm.
both laughed about it because what are the odds? Toronto is big, right? Surely this is a weird coincidence. Well, we kept talking and then we went on a date. And now we've been seeing each other for 2 months. Here's the issue Melissa still comes to see me every 8 weeks, and she still talks about him. Last appointment, she
Mm.
literally said, I honestly hope he never dates again. Meanwhile, I had dinner with him just a few nights before.
Oh, no. That's so
I
awkward.
so awkward. I feel so bad because what are the fucking chances, you
What are the
know? Like, this is a big city.
chances?
I understand if you're living in a small town, it's a little different, but Toronto is a big city. So anyway, so she goes,
Oh.
"Meanwhile, I had dinner with him a couple nights ago. I've become the world's most uncomfortable secret keeper. The other
Oh.
problem is that he recently came to pick me up from the salon, and Melissa's appointment was the next week. My worst fear is that she walks in while he's waiting outside, and suddenly it's the Real Housewives of foil packets. My question is dating your client's ex morally illegal in the salon world? Do I confess? Do I pretend I've never met this man in my life? Or do I just pray to the hair gods that Melissa finds a new stylist before this inevitably explodes? Please advise. Dating in the danger zone. Ooh, that is
I would just
juicy.
tell her. I would just tell her.
You
If
would
you
just tell
really
her?
if you really like the guy, I would just tell her. If it's kind of whatever, then, like, if you know you're not gonna it's not gonna last long with this guy, then whatever, just let it blow
That's
over, but, like,
fair.
if you actually are into him and you're wanting this to go anywhere and you also wanna keep that client, I think you just need
Mm,
to tell her, and she might end up going somewhere else anyways because she might feel too uncomfortable about the situation, but
yeah.
that's
But
that's
I mean, it's all
close
she said she's only been
encounters.
dating this guy for 2 months.
Yeah,
So she's probably only seen Melissa maybe once or twice.
right.
Twice, maybe once since she's seen this girl. So now, she has another 8 weeks to figure out whether or not this guy is serious or not before she
Yeah,
sees Melissa again. So after
that's a
4
long
months, she
time.
can at least know whether or not this is going somewhere, I hope, you
Yes.
know?
Yeah,
At least enough to tell Melissa.
yeah, you would think. Oh,
Oh,
poor everybody in that situation.
poor
That's
everybody.
awkward.
Yeah, that is awkward.
They obviously run
Oh,
in the same circles
I
somehow
was
or
just gonna
something
say
like
that.
that, right? Like, someone must have
Yeah.
referred her that also know I don't know, everybody's connected
That's
somehow.
also what I'm thinking because if they're going to the same bars, running into the same people,
Yeah,
chances are they run in similar circles, which means this
yeah,
Melissa girl might be connected to her in other ways. And
yes.
so you kind of have to decide what's more important here, you know? It's not that she's because she could be just a client, but what if she goes behind and starts to tell other friends what happened, and then now those other friends decide to stop booking with you?
Well, or what happens if, this stylist ends up telling one of her other friends that she doesn't actually knows
Mm,
Melissa, and then Melissa finds out through somebody else? That's worse.
that's way worse.
Yeah,
So, yeah,
you just gotta be open and tell her,
bite the bullet.
is my opinion. Yeah.
Now, does she go out of her way and tell her before the next appointment, or does she tell her at the next appointment?
I feel like I would just wait till the next appointment. I don't think I would go out of my way to be emailing her or, like, starting to text her about it or something like that. I think I would just tell her in person when I saw her again.
Oh, I don't know. I'd probably tell her beforehand
Would
because
you?
now I'm trying to think, when would I tell her during the appointment? Or do I tell her at the beginning? And now if she's awkward about it, then we have this whole 2 hours of
Yeah,
fucking living with this situation. Do I
just
tell her at the
silence.
end? And then now that client's like, "Wait, you've been doing my hair this whole 2 hours and you didn't tell me this until now?" Like, there's
Yeah.
there's really no good time to tell her in the chair. I'd rather call her ahead of time, be like, "Listen, super random scenario. Talk about it on the phone because then you can be like, listen, if you're uncomfortable seeing me or if you need a break, I totally understand. I can reschedule your appointment. I can cancel your appointment. I can help you find another stylist. Or like, are you comfortable coming in with this? Can we laugh about this still?
Okay, I think that if I am actually getting really serious about this guy, maybe I would give her a call first and
Yeah,
just be
like a
like,
week,
"This is
maybe 10 days before the appointment.
yeah, like, this is actually serious and it's going somewhere." If it's not, then I don't really see the need to, like, call her and tell her in advance kinda thing. That's
Yeah.
where I'm at.
So then do you not tell her at all if you don't think it's serious enough? Because if you don't think it's serious enough to call her, then you don't think it's going anywhere, which means it'll probably phase out, which means why would you even tell her to begin with? Because it's gonna just really not do any good for the
Yeah,
relationship.
I like, either that or just bring it up really nonchalant, like, "Hey, I, like, ended up, like, going on a couple dates with this dude. It didn't go anywhere, but, like,
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I know
yeah.
him," or something, like, just downplay it a little bit or just not say anything at all.
I mean, she could just, plead the fifth, "We had no idea. I didn't know that was your ex." If they didn't make that connection in the beginning, it wouldn't really ever come up unless you saw a photo of them together, then you would ask questions, and they were together for 5 years, so there would definitely be photos of them, maybe on his Instagram or something, who knows?
Yeah,
But you could
yeah,
also just say, "It wasn't that serious. I didn't even know you guys were dating," you know? Or
yeah,
that was your ex.
totally.
Because I mean, do you get a full disclosure of every single person, first and last name of your ex? Probably not, you know?
No.
I'm
No,
not gonna give you
exactly.
their freaking social insurance number, but it's not necessarily gonna be something that you bring up right away.
And also, if they do run in the same circles, like, it's not the first and only time that something like that's ever happened in some sort of scenario, do you know what I mean? Like
The chances are pretty freaking slim, though. I mean, Toronto's a
yeah,
big city,
I guess, yeah. You know what? I live in Saskatoon, it's such a different thing here because everybody knows each other, right? Like,
I guess.
in to
And you
some
know what?
extent.
Even to that extent, I would say Toronto isn't that big of a city. Nothing is that big. The amount of times, oh my God, I remembered one time I was dating this guy and I found out, actually, I was dating these 2 guys, and then they both, fell off the roster at the same time, so I found out they were dating each other, and I remembered being like, I well, fuck.
That's
How does that
hilarious.
happen? I keep telling myself it's a big city, but really at the end of the day, it's not that big,
Yeah,
especially when you are in a similar age category and a similar economic state. You're
exactly.
gonna be hanging out in the same places, you're gonna be doing the same things.
That's exactly it. Like, yes, it's a big city, but also people hang out at similar places and I don't know. It's crazy, but it
Ugh,
happens.
it happens, and it's not illegal it's
And
not
it's not a
morally illegal in the hair world, girl, you get it. Just have fun,
yeah.
and if it works out as something that is serious, then, have that conversation with your client, and, you might lose her as a client, and that's okay. People come and go. You might not end up staying with that person, and that's okay too, you know? It's a great
Or you
story.
might invite her to the wedding.
Yeah. She might actually end up being super supportive and is like, "You know what? You 2 are
Yeah,
actually great for each other
awesome together.
because I know you and I know him and cool."
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so only one way to find out, you gotta let her know, and you
Yeah.
need to let us know what happens afterwards, more
Yes,
importantly.
please.
I
Yeah.
think what's more important is the listeners need to know what happens, you know?
We'll need a full 'nother episode on the reply,
Yeah,
the end
I
of the
think that's
story
what
for
we'll probably
sure.
do is just have a whole episode of replies where we catch up on all the stories of everybody's past.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Actually, I love that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
awesome,
Okay.
awesome. Well, thank you so much, anonymous writer, for sending that in, and if you have a story for us and you would like for us to read it, please, please send us your emails. I'm so happy that you guys have been sending us emails. I mean, of course, we're still a new podcast, so we're not getting, crazy stuff sent to us, but we are getting some things enough where I this week I had a choice of 3 that I could read, so that was really cool. So keep sending us your emails. We love to hear from you. And we hope you have an amazing week.
We'll chat with you next week.
Have a great one. Bye.
Bye. That wraps up today's episode of Locks of Lore. If this conversation hit close to home, make sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a stylist who needs to hear it.
You can find us on social media at Benny_and the Jets.
And at tashpotatoes_hair.
If you've got a story, question, or salon situation you want us to break down, send it our way, anonymously always, at locksoflorepodcast@gmail.com.
Until next time, know your worth,
Protect your energy.
and we'll see you behind the chair.